Thank you for joining me today here on Flyer Overtime, Maddie. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. How did you get into playing softball?
Yeah, so I started t-ball in kindergarten and kept playing baseball for a couple of years. Eventually, in third grade, transitioned over to softball and been playing it ever since.
You were at Drexel once upon a time and then transferred here to Dayton. What made this softball program stand out to you?
Yeah, so I think, everyone says it, community is such a big aspect of Dayton as a whole. So, right when I stepped on campus, I could feel that with the softball program and with the school. So that was, a big factor in my decision. I really wanted to be somewhere that had a strong sense of community. And then, being able to be a little bit closer to home so that my parents and family could come to a lot of my games was also a big aspect of that decision.
What does a typical practice as well as a game day look like for you here at Dayton?
Yeah, so for practices, usually we have, can be in groups depending on classes, but, we'll have a hitting group before and then a team practice specifically focused on defense usually, and then some hitting after. For game days, I always have to get my hair braided before the game. One of my teammates does it before every game, so that's kind of our pregame ritual, but then we have our game later in the day and go from there.
You've been an A10 Player of the Week numerous times. How's that helped you grow and become motivated?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really cool honor to be A10 Player of the Week, and I think really being able to contribute to the team is really cool, and being recognized in the conference, and then just being able to represent the Dayton softball program.
You were also recognized as the 13th ranked second baseman in the NCAA rankings. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, I think being able to be recognized with, those caliber players is a cool accomplishment. And then, being able to contribute to the team and help us reach those goals that we have for the season is really cool.
Last season, you guys won the A10 tournament. What did that mean to you and your teammates?
Yeah, it meant everything. Being able to, win that championship for the first time in school history. Being able to do it with such a special team is a moment that I'm going to remember forever.
And then you guys competed in the NCAA regional tournament. What did you guys learn from that experience? What was that experience like for you guys?
It was an incredible experience, getting to compete with the best of the best and kind of just appreciating the moment and being where your feet are, playing in such an awesome environment was a really special feeling.
Last season, you were one of 3 players to start in all 54 games here. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, I think it's, really cool just to be able to do whatever's asked of you in the moment, whatever my team or my coach is asking me to do, doing that with, 100% and whatever's needed in that specific situation.
How would you describe the culture of the team?
Yeah, I'd say the only way to describe it is top notch. We really pride ourselves on our team culture. And, that's a credit to all of the past Dayton softball players. I'm building on that year after year to make it what it is today.
Which teammate or teammates have you looked up to throughout your time here at UD?
Like current teammates?
Yeah, it can be current and former.
So for current, I'd have to say my roommate, Haven Dwyer, because she's just so composed on the field no matter the situation. If something is going in her favor or not, you wouldn't be able to tell because she always keeps her composure, and that's something I really admire about her. And then in terms of past teammates, there have been so many that I've looked up to. I've taken several things from each person, but I have to say specifically, Nico Papavasilio and Alyssa Caccini have done a really good job in past years of creating a really strong team culture and just bringing everyone together.
What's the relationship between you and Coach Kara Clark? What has she taught you throughout your time here at UD?
Yeah, Coach Clark cares so much about every single one of us as players, but more importantly as people. And something that she's taught me that's really stuck with me is how important process is rather than results. So we talk a lot about process, and that has really helped me in a lot of aspects, whether that's academics or, working or softball, but being able to not worry about results right away and focus on that process because eventually the results will come.
As a senior on the team, how have you shown your leadership towards your teammates on and off the field?
I'd say a big way that I show leadership is by example. So, doing that extra work and showing specifically the younger players that it is going to pay off if you continue to, put your head down and do that work to accomplish your goals. And then just by trying to bring people with me, so, inviting them to get extra work in, stay after practice, and, really setting that good example.
Now, you're not just a softball player. You traveled to Atlanta for a collegiate sales competition. Tell me that experience and what you've learned from that.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience to be able to travel to Atlanta with some of my classmates and, really get experience in the sales industry. So I got to compete in the competition, the National Collegiate Sales Competition. And I ended up doing pretty well, which was really cool, and got to do a lot of interviews with professional sports teams to kind of find out, where I wanted to be after graduation.
Now, is sales something you want to further your career and development in?
Yeah, so I'm going to be starting in June with the Cleveland Cavaliers as an account executive. So I'm going to be starting my career in sales there, and I'm super excited about it.
What has been the biggest takeaway from the UD softball program, as well as your time here at UD?
I'd have to say kind of just being where your feet are, because, our team changes every year, and just being able to appreciate each moment that you're in, because it's going to be different. It's not going to last forever. So especially being a senior now, not taking for granted any moment, because my softball career, it's only going to last a couple more months. So being able to appreciate that while I have it, and my teammates as well.
Have you been able to balance athletics as well as education here at UD?
Yeah, so I think that UD does a really good job of prioritizing our education before athletics, because we are students before athletes. So being able to really get that time management down, and when we're traveling, making sure that we're communicating with our professors, and a lot of that comes from having those older teammates to lean on and having them help us, learn from a young age when we get into college how to do that, so that we can stay successful in both athletics and academics.
What has been your favorite softball moment here at UD?
I have to say I'm winning the A10 championship for the first time in school history, because that was our goal, for so long, to be able to bring that championship to Dayton softball for the first time, and being able to do it with such a special group is just something that I'm super proud of to be a part of.
And who do you credit for supporting you in your softball journey?
I'd have to say my parents. They've been just so supportive of me playing softball and taking me to all the tournaments and traveling to so many of our games, and just being such a strong support system for me while navigating, my softball journey.
All right. Well, I thank you for joining me here today on Flyer Overtime, Maddie, and hope you good luck on the rest of your season.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Maddie, or if you want to learn more stories from Flyer athletes, links on screen.